Now, according to the United Nations, there's an estimated 125 million girls and women around the world who've undergone female genital mutilation. It's a practice which consists in the partial or total removal of female genitalia for non-medical purposes. It can lead to a variety of health consequences, including infection, complications during childbirth, as well as long-term gynecological problems. And it's particularly common in numerous African countries, as well as parts of Asia and the Middle East. Born in Burkino Faso, Assita Kanko underwent the procedure at the age of 5. Now living in Belgium, she's written a book about it and is also an activist and a local government councillor. And she joins me here in the studio today. Assita, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, what memories do you have of what happened to you when you were 5 years old?
Loneliness and the smell of the place where I was cut and the pain, of course.
Just take us through what actually happened on the day itself.
It was a very normal day in the summer holidays, and my mother told me I was allowed to play with a friend from school. It was my best friend from school, but she was living alone with her mother. Her mother was not married, so I was not allowed to play with her. But on that day, it was possible, so I was very happy. And she told me, I'll bring you to a friend. But we never went to my friend. We passed the house of my friend. We went to the market, where I was grabbed at my shoulders by older women who then did it with me. So it was in an old house next to the market. And what I remember is that nobody moved while we were screaming for help. And there were also other little girls in the house, and I did not know what was happening to us. We had to sit on the ground and spread our legs, and then there was a hole between our legs, as deep as a teacup. And then they came with the razor blades, and they was holding our shoulders and pushing it down, and they were sweating, so I could smell the tears and the ground and the sweat. And then they cut us. I didn't know what they were cutting, and it was just painful. I thought this was the end of us, and nobody did anything. That's what hurt me the most, is that nobody did anything to help. And secondly, because I felt betrayed by my mother.
What did your mother say after the procedure?
Nothing. We never talked about it then. I just went back home, and I was looking at her as if she was a stranger, and I was feeling guilty because I did not allow myself to look at her like that. So they did not cut only a part of my genitals, they also cut my relationship with my mother on that day.
Did your relationship with your mother ever recover?
Yes, it started recovering when she had her own job and became more independent. This was the biggest gift she could give me. And last year, we spoke for the first time about that day, very short discussion. But then it felt as if she picked my hand again and did not bring me back to that place. It was important for me and also for her to speak about it.
Just how widespread is the practice these days, especially given the rise of the internet and the fact that there is an increasing number of public awareness campaigns across the world?
The problem is that now it happens in Africa, but it also happens in Europe. Because of migrations, people move around and they can just take the tradition with them. But most of the people actually I heard about who still practice FGM, they know that it's not good. They know it's forbidden. It's not only a lack of information, it's also the power of tradition and social pressure. And the fact that women mostly do not have the economic power to say no. You can say no, but where will you go? So they just stay and comply, and that was the case of my mother.
Now, you've talked there about the fact that the rise of global migration means that now developed nations are dealing with the issue, and of course it becomes a very messy scenario because there's sort of the concept of multiculturalism versus individual or human rights. What do you think those governments need to do to ensure that the procedure is banned?
It's like, first of all, we must not make legal segregation like they do in the UK. When they wrote about universal human rights, nobody said that it applies to only whites or blacks or Muslims or non-Muslims. It's for everyone. So just to understand that all the women, despite where they are from, they are equal and they deserve the same rights. And secondly, when we actually organize cities, we must not go and park all the migrants in the same neighborhood and all the others to other places, because then the social pressure is developing and they will just keep doing the same things. We must mix up the people and go talk to each other, and also provide education for everyone at the same level, and work on economic development so that it can serve everyone, because when you have education and when you have a job, you have so much more to say. I used to believe this sentence from Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso, who said that the hand that feeds you will also command you.
And that not just applies to communities in the developed world, but the developing world as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it's a global problem there. The youth and the women are left back because they don't have they cannot enjoy this economic development. In Africa, the problem, I was there 2 weeks ago, I saw the same poverty. I heard the same stories of teenage girls getting pregnant with unwanted sex. So this is all about a domination of the woman, and FGM is just part of it, and it's still continuing right now.
Assita Kanko, we're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.